A guy's neighbor passed away. He went next door and prayed for him, and the guy rose from the dead. Check this story out about Smith Wigglesworth.
Faith to raise the dead. Smith Wigglesworth, he said that if you will take a step of faith, use the measure of faith that God has given you as a Christian, and when you come to the end of this faith, very often this supernatural gift or special faith will take over. So under Wigglesworth's ministry, at least 3 different people were raised from the dead, and in his book, Ever Increasing Faith, Wigglesworth related one instance of his neighbor being raised from the dead. This is that story. So one day, Wigglesworth visited a sick neighbor who had been close to death. Now, after coming home from an open-air meeting the following day, Wigglesworth, he learned that his wife Polly was at this neighbor's house. So as Wigglesworth approached the house, he heard screaming. So he went inside and found a sick man's wife was crying. "He's gone! He's gone!" Wigglesworth said, "I just passed by the man's wife and went into the room, and immediately I saw that he was gone. Now I could not understand it, but I began to pray. Now my wife was always afraid that I would go a little bit too far, and so she laid a hold of me and said, don't you see that he's dead?" But I continued praying. So I got as far as I could with my own faith, and then God laid a hold of me. It was such a laying a hold that I could believe for anything. The faith of the Lord Jesus laid hold of me, and a solid peace came into my heart, and I shout, "He lives! He lives! He lives!" And my neighbor is still living today. Well, you know as well as I do that receiving the dead back to life is beyond anyone's ordinary faith. So in our ordinary faith, we could pull a dead person off of his deathbed, stand him up, and tell him to walk. But that doesn't mean that he will begin to walk. Well, why not? Because it would take a miracle, and it takes a supernatural manifestation of God's power to receive a miracle from God. Now, as I said before, the working of miracles performs a miracle, but the gift of faith receives a miracle. I'm going to say that again. The working of miracles performs a miracle, but the gift of faith receives a miracle. So the working of miracles is more of an act, whereas the gift of faith is more of a process. So we can see that by the gift of faith, the miraculous was manifested in the scriptures. Now, people were supernaturally fed and sustained, angels stood guard and protected the servants of God, and men were delivered from the ferocity of beasts. But the present day use of this power gift is still the same. In the same way that the gift of faith was manifested in the Bible days, it can be manifested to receive supernatural blessings, protection, or sustenance today. By this power gift, evil spirits can be cast out and the dead can be raised. But it takes supernatural faith, special faith, for these things to happen. If you would like to hear more about Smith Wigglesworth, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.